Hey, Kat. Key West today. What's on our agenda?
Well, we're going to pick up a golf cart. We are going to go see the southernmost point, visit Hemingway's house, and get a slice of key lime pie.
Ooh, it sounds good.
So a little bit about Key West. In 1763, Great Britain took control of Key West from Spain. And in 1821, the United States gained control of Florida from Spain. But in 1822, Matthew C. Perry sailed a schooner called the USS Shark and planted the U.S. flag in the Keys, claiming the Keys for the United States. There was no protest, so the United States gained de facto possession of the Keys. The Keys were pretty isolated until 1912, when the overground railroad was built and connected the Keys to mainland Florida. But on Labor Day in 1935, a hurricane ruined the railway. So instead of rebuilding the railway, the U.S. government decided to build a road for automobiles to connect mainland Florida to the Keys. And that was finished in 1938. They used many of the railroad footings to establish the road to connect the Keys to mainland Florida. In 1946, Harry S. Truman established a working vacation home in Key West, and it's called the Little White House. So we rented our golf cart, which was an 8-person golf cart, from Sunshine Scooters. We went online and booked it. You can book online. You do not need a credit card to reserve this. It'll just reserve the golf cart for the day. You have to pay the day of. So we thought that was nice. And they have probably the cheapest rates on the island. They are located at 301 Duval Street, which is on the corner of Duval and Caroline Street. It is walkable from the cruise ship. It's about a 5-minute walk. So they are open from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. You must have the golf cart back to them at the location on Duval Street by 3:30 p.m. If you can't get it back by 3:30 p.m., then you have to drop it off at their other location, which is farther down the island on Caroline Street. We did an all-day rental, and I'll give you some of the prices for the rentals. If you want a 4-seater scooter, it's going to be $99. 6-seater scooter, actually golf cart, is $129, and an 8-seater golf cart is $159. There are taxes, and you need to add $5 for gas. And also, if you want to get insurance, I believe that's an extra $20. So our golf cart rental in total was about $189, $199 after we added the taxes, the gas, and the insurance. We took the insurance on it. Very nice, very easy to rent from. All drivers must be over 21, and anyone that is going to drive the golf cart that day needs to sign on the agreement. So if you have multiple people that want to drive the golf cart, keep in mind they have to be over 21, and they are going to also have to sign the agreement.
Turn the key off, things like your turn signals, your headlights, all still functional. Just make sure to shut that off if you walk away so it doesn't kill the battery. Straight up is forward, down is reverse. You get the parking brake off, just smash down on the gas pedal. When you want to reset the parking brake, step on the P, and you'll tail lights will stay on for like 3 to 5 minutes every time you park, so when you're walking away and you see them on, don't worry about that.
Do you think it's safe to sit back there, or you don't recommend it?
They wouldn't be there if it wasn't safe.
Huh?
That's fine.
All right, put your seatbelt on that. Okay. All righty.
Have a good time, guys.
All right, thank you. You want me to sit there with you, babe? Yeah, no, I don't. Let me scared of all else.
Now we're off to the southernmost point. We made the decision to go to the southernmost point first after we picked up the golf cart because the line gets very long. So we thought we would go there first and enjoy that, get our pictures taken. And we were glad that we did because as we were leaving, the line was getting very long. So it definitely would be our recommendation to go there as early in the day as you can. You'll see the line when we get up to the southernmost point. It was not very long. I think it took us maybe 5 minutes to wait in line to have our picture taken. And it's usually the person that's standing in line behind you will take your picture. Vice versa, when you're standing in line, you'll take the picture for the person in front of you. So it's very friendly. Everyone really takes time to allow people to have their picture taken, take videos, things like that. So it's very friendly with everyone that stands there. There was no problem. The biggest problem that we had were the meters. When we parked the golf cart, you have to feed the meter. So if you're renting a golf cart or a car, keep that in mind when you're parking in the city. They have meters on all of the streets, and you have to have the license plate of your car or your golf cart, whatever you're driving, to put into the meter. They're digital meters. They take credit cards, they take debit cards to feed the meter, and I believe it's 10-minute increments. So you decide how long you need. And then you can go back, if you're going to stay in that particular position longer, you can go back and just add more money into the meter and it'll extend your stay. So keep that in mind if you plan on renting any kind of vehicle in Key West. And you can choose to do either a self-guided walking tour or you can do a guided tour. The guided tours do not cost extra, but at the end of the tour, it's very kind if you tip your tour guide. They're very, very intelligent and have a lot of great information on the house and Ernest Hemingway's life in Key West.
The one thing to remember about Ernest Hemingway's house is don't touch the cats. They have signs all over, and there are cats all over the place. And they have a lot of memorabilia of Ernest Hemingway's typewriter there and just pictures of him fishing because we all know he loved fishing.
Yes. There is no air conditioning in the house. They do have a lot of fans throughout the facility, but just keep that in mind. We happen to be in Key West on one of the hottest days during the spring season of Key West. The temperature was well into the 90s, and with the heat index, it felt like it was about 103 degrees. So again, I know that I say this in a lot of videos, make sure you have your water, stay hydrated. I did not take my own advice that day and ended up probably having a little bit of heat stroke before we got to lunch.
That's a six-toe cat there on the bed, and you just find cats all over the place.
Yeah. So Ernest Hemingway, his wife Pauline's uncle Gus purchased this house for them on Whitehead Street in 1931. And this house is actually a Spanish-style colonial that was built in 1851. The house is absolutely beautiful and the grounds are beautiful. It's definitely worth a visit. You can take as long as you want in the house. There is a gift shop and there is vending machines available. So, like I said, if you didn't have water, which I didn't, we had to hit the vending machines for a couple bottles of water so that I could rehydrate myself.
And that's the beginning of the wheels falling off on that trip that day.
Yes. It was a hot one, and I sometimes do not do well in the heat. Although I love the summer and I love the sunshine, sometimes heat can get to me. We went to Duval Street after Hemingway's house and did a little shopping along Duval Street. We decided to stop and get coffee. I, of course, went for an iced coffee because it was so hot that day, but Mike here went for a hot coffee, which I think everyone thought he was a little crazy. But this is what led to our losing our golf cart. After we leave Black Rifle Coffee, we went to feed the meter to extend the time because we were going to lunch after leaving Duval Street. And Mike and I went to look for the golf cart so that we could feed the meter, and we could not find it. Mike decided not to videotape it, thankfully, because I was having a meltdown, I think, partly from the heat and partly of the fear that maybe the golf cart got towed somewhere and we would have to go and get it out of hock.
Yeah. And we walked all the way down to the southernmost point looking for the golf cart. It was very hot. It was one of the hottest days on record in Key West they've had in a long time. But it was just strange. There was a person who had a stand out on the sidewalk, and every time we go by, he talked to us, so we'd get our attention away. And of course, you know where the golf cart was. It was across from him, one space up. So he would keep talking to us, we'd look at him, and we'd walk by the golf cart. But my only thing is that if you rent something like this, we all have air tags in my backpack. I would just throw an air tag in the golf cart and you could always find out where it is. But it was a very, very hot day.
That hack with the air tags, I think, is phenomenal. We should have thought of that, and it would have saved me a meltdown. But of course, you know, hindsight's always 20/20 and lessons learned. But that's a good tip for you guys in the future, to take an air tag and put it under the seat, because the seats lift up so you can put your bags in and keep them locked up if you don't want to walk around the streets with them. Have the air tag in there and you'll never lose your golf cart. We ate lunch at Blue Heaven, which is one of the restaurants, if you go on to any recommended sites, it always comes up for great atmosphere and good food. All of the seating is outside, so please be aware of that, especially if it's a hot day. They do have umbrellas over all the tables to provide some shade, but keep that in mind. One thing about Blue Heaven, if you're going with a larger party, they do not do separate checks, so it's only one check that will come for the table. So just keep that in mind when you're picking Blue Heaven as one of the restaurants.
It's about a not a romance book, right? No, it's about a doctor who lives in like a circle in there.
Yes, thank you for the fancy.
I angled it. She looks so hot.
Yeah, you'd have like 4 people out on the floor here. Oh.
We got ideas?
I just want a plain grilled cheese, no tomato, just cheese. And what kind of bread does that come on?
It's fresh baked multi-grain that we bake here.
Is there any other choices or just that?
We have white.
I want white bread. Just it's very simple. That's all I want. So hot.
And then I'm standing in the best.
I know, right?
Oh, gotcha.
I'm gonna do the chicken salad sandwich. How is that?
That's good. I like it on the arugula too. But you want the
Throw some
sandwich?
arugula on there too.
Or you see that you can have the chicken salad on the salad.
Or the salad, you have it like
It's a salad with arugula and orange.
Oh no, I'd rather have a sandwich. Yeah.
Got it.
So the lobster grilled cheese, can I do that with no tomatoes?
Yeah.
And then, is there like a tomato dipper I can have on the side? Like a red sauce that I can dip it in? Do you guys have anything I can dip it in?
No, we have black bean soup. I don't think that would be good. And it's still hot.
What about like ranch
on the
or?
side? We don't have them.
I was just trying to think of
It's delicious.
You're a dipper like your mother.
We're gonna have the chicken salad sandwich.
Maggie loves the honey mustard sauce at Fred's
Grilled
like
cheese.
me.
Grilled cheese with the tomato.
Yes.
Are you getting that?
Heard it's delicious.
It's really good.
I'm gonna do grilled cheese, tomato sandwich, and bacon. Can I get down white bread? Thank you so much.
Are you guys all good with water for now?
No, you can bring me a Coke or Pepsi.
Pepsi, yeah.
I'm gonna have a painkiller.
Yeah.
Got it.
I know. Make life everywhere.
Anybody want some torches?
So a little bit about our experience at Blue Heaven. The food was very good. It's a typical Key West restaurant. A little bit of a Cuban flair, American flair, sandwiches, meals, fish, chicken, things like that. They have a good black bean soup, which we did not order because of the heat that day, although I would have liked to have tried it. Of course, we had the key lime pie for dessert, and Blue Heaven supposedly has the original recipe. The original recipe, there is some controversy for the original key lime pie recipe. It came from Aunt Sally, which is from the Curry Mansion on Caroline Street. The Curry Mansion was owned by a self-made millionaire named William Curry, and his cook, Aunt Sally, is the one that made the iconic recipe. The alternate story is that when Carnation evaporated milk, sweetened condensed milk came out, they came up with a recipe for a lemon pie. And in Key West, what they did, because they had the key limes, they took the key limes and substituted that for the lemons. So I don't know which is the original recipe, but either way, key lime pie is great. Some of the other places that we looked at that have really good key lime pie on the island from our research are El Mason de Pepe, which is at 401 Wall Street in Mallory Square. Their key lime pie is rated very high by the locals and tourists alike. Kermit's of Key West, they have 2 locations. One's on 200 Elizabeth Street and the other one is at 335 Duval Street. This is a well-known establishment for key lime pie, and they definitely win a lot of competitions. There's Matt's on Stock Island, and that is a deconstructed key lime pie in a jar. Of course, Blue Heaven, that always comes in the running, and like I said, supposedly they have Aunt Sally's old recipe. And the difference is because they do use the meringue as the topping versus a whipped cream topping. And then the Stone Crab is another one that is supposed to have very good key lime pie, and that's at 3101 North Roosevelt Boulevard. And then Pepe's Cafe. Pepe's Cafe is the oldest eating house in Key West. And Harry Truman was a regular at Pepe's Cafe on Caroline Street. It's at 806 Caroline Street. So if you're in Key West, we would recommend trying any of them. We cannot say firsthand which is the best since we've only had Blue Heaven, but we can definitely recommend Blue Heaven. But the other ones are probably all worth a try, so hopefully you get a chance to try one of them. So we're getting ready to take the golf cart back. We want to thank Nick, who was our cameraman on the way back from Blue Heaven. He did all of the filming, and I think he did a great job, and we want to thank him very much for filming this in reverse on the golf cart.
Remember where we parked it.
That does happen.
We were going to call you guys to go GPS.
Hit the parking brake.
Where's that at?
Just keep pressing it down.
Good call.
We were going to call you guys and say, do the GPS on it and show us where it is.
You need to do anything?
No.
You don't need to see this or anything, or?
No,
Oh.
I got it on from here.
All right. Thank you very much, sir. We had a fun
Thank
day.
you guys. Take care.
It was a lot of fun with the golf cart. The only thing is, an 8-person golf cart is very hard to drive sometimes because it is very long. So making turns, it just takes a little bit, and there's no power steering, and we can go on from there. But I was on Duval Street. I've been to Key West many, many times, and I was very surprised that there were covers in a lot of the clubs. I mean, up to $20 for covers in some of the clubs on Duval Street, which I had never seen before, or maybe I didn't notice. So if you know, please leave a comment below.
And it's unusual during the day a lot of times to have a cover charge in a bar. Usually they reserve that for the nighttime crowd, but being that Key West is very touristy, I guess they figure if you're willing to pay a cover charge, you're willing to come in and you're going to spend money with them. So just keep that in mind also, especially if you're on a budget. You want to kind of take these things into consideration because it adds up after a while, paying for covers to get into a bar or a restaurant, the cost of the meal, renting a golf cart, paying for the parking, and especially if you move the golf cart multiple places, you're going to be paying for parking each time you go. So just keep that in mind when you're making up your budget. If you don't have those costs factored in, it could put a damper on your budget. Oh, and one last thing we did not mention when we started the video, the ship's dock in Mallory Square. So as soon as you get off the ship, Mallory Square is to the left, and as you walk up, maybe a block and a half is Duval Street. So really, if you plan on just staying in that area for the day, you could do all of Key West walking. You don't necessarily need to get a golf cart or a scooter or anything like that. The farthest point is going to be the southernmost point, so you might want to just take an Uber over there, take your picture.
You can look for your golf cart and just walk it.
That's true. You could.
Yes, please like and subscribe. We're trying to get this little channel some more subscribers. So please comment, like, and subscribe.
Cat and Mike, the ship set sail on a journey that'll never fail. With the wind in their hair and the sun shining bright, they're dancing on the waves, it feels just right. Sailing together, side by side, side by side. With love in their hearts, they're shining bright. Every moment is a memory to keep. Cat and Mike, they're sailing on the deep. Sailing on the deep. Cat and Mike, the ship set sail on a journey that'll never fail. With the wind in their hair and the sun shining bright, they're dancing on the waves, it feels just right. Sailing together.